Right now, at this very moment, your baby is watching you. Not just looking, watching, registering, recording. They can't speak. They can't point at what hurt them. They can't come to you and say, "That scared me," or "That felt wrong." But something is happening inside them anyway, every single day, quietly, invisibly, deeply. And most parents will never know they're doing it. There are 10 things, 10 completely ordinary, everyday, totally normal things that are secretly reaching into your baby's developing world and shaping something permanent. Not dramatic things, not abusive things, things you probably did before breakfast today. Stay with me, because what I'm about to show you is going to change the way you see the smallest moments of your day forever. Here's something that modern neuroscience has confirmed and that most parenting culture still hasn't caught up with. Your baby is not a passive passenger in their own development. They are an active, hypersensitive, emotionally intelligent being from the very first days of life. Before they can sit up, before they can smile on purpose, before they recognize their own name, they are already reading the emotional atmosphere around them with a precision that would astonish you. They are reading your face, your voice, your touch, the speed at which you respond to them, the quality of your attention. And here's the part that most people don't understand. The brain your baby is building right now, the one that will determine how they handle stress, how they form relationships, how they trust the world, is being built largely from those reads, from the ordinary moments, from what happens between the big moments, from the texture of daily life inside your home. Which means that some of the most powerful parenting decisions you will ever make aren't the ones you think about. They're the ones you've never thought about at all. Until today. For decades, there was a dominant belief about babies that shaped how entire generations were raised. The belief was simple. Babies don't really understand what's happening around them. They just eat, sleep, and feel either comfortable or uncomfortable. Their inner world, if they have one at all, is basic, primitive. They won't remember anyway, people used to say. What they don't know won't hurt them. And built on top of that belief came a whole architecture of parenting advice. Let them cry it out. They need to learn independence. Don't pick them up too much. You'll spoil them. Babies are resilient. They bounce back. This wasn't coming from cruel parents. It was coming from a sincere misunderstanding of what a baby actually is. Because here is what the science now shows, definitively, repeatedly, across dozens of universities and research institutions. Babies are not primitive. They are extraordinarily sensitive. And the experiences they have in the first year of life, experiences they will never consciously remember, are quite literally carving the architecture of their brain. What they don't remember still shapes them forever. That changes everything. In the 1990s, a quiet revolution began in the field of developmental neuroscience. Researchers started using technology that could actually measure what was happening inside a baby's brain and body in real time. Heart rate monitors, cortisol assays, brain imaging. And what they found fundamentally rewrote what we thought we knew. At Harvard University, a team led by developmental psychologist Edward Tronick conducted a now famous experiment called the still face paradigm. The setup was elegantly simple. A mother sits across from her baby. They interact normally. She smiles, she talks, she mirrors the baby's expressions. The baby is happy, engaged, alive with connection. Then, on instruction, the mother goes still. Completely blank. She looks at the baby, but her face shows nothing. No smile, no reaction, just absence. Within seconds, the baby's entire world changed. They tried everything. They pointed, they smiled harder, they vocalized, they reached out. They did everything in their social toolkit to bring their mother back. And when nothing worked, when that blank face stayed blank, the baby didn't just get sad. Their heart rate changed, their cortisol surged, their posture collapsed. Some turned away entirely. Some started to cry with a desperation that the researchers described as physiologically indistinguishable from acute distress. This wasn't just an emotional reaction. This was a full-body biological emergency. And the still face had lasted less than 2 minutes. What they found surprised everyone in the field. A baby doesn't need to be in physical danger to experience a genuine stress response. They just need their primary emotional mirror to go dark. Here is the hidden truth that this research unlocked. Your face is your baby's world. Not metaphorically, neurologically. From the first days after birth, a baby's brain is wired to lock onto the human face as its primary source of information about reality. Is the world safe? Is this moment okay? Am I loved? Am I in danger? They answer all of those questions, not from logic, not from memory, not from language, but from reading your face, your eyes, your tone, the micro expressions that cross your features in fractions of a second. And the extraordinary thing, the thing that changes how you understand every moment you spend with your baby, is that they are doing this reading constantly, continuously, even when you think they're not paying attention, especially when you think they're not paying attention. Which means that 10 very ordinary, very common, very innocent-seeming things that most parents do every single day are sending signals that a baby's developing brain is interpreting as something much deeper than the parent ever intended. Let's go through them, all 10, starting right now. But here is where it gets even more interesting, because none of these 10 things require you to be a bad parent. In fact, many of them are things that well-intentioned, educated, deeply loving parents do specifically because they've been told it's the right approach. The problem isn't love. It's never been about love. It's about information, and you are about to have it. Number one, the waiting game. Imagine you're in a room and you can't move. You can't speak. You can't do anything except cry. You're in discomfort, maybe hunger, maybe fear, maybe just a deep, wordless need for connection, and you make the only sound available to you. And nothing happens. The silence that follows isn't neutral. To your nervous system, that silence is not peace. It's a message, and the message is, your signal doesn't matter. Help isn't coming. This is what happens inside your baby when you practice delayed response to crying. Not intentionally, not coldly, the kind of waiting that happens when you've read that a few minutes of settling teaches independence. But the science is clear. Cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone, spikes rapidly when a baby's cry goes unanswered. And in the first year of life, the developing brain is exquisitely sensitive to cortisol. Repeated stress spikes without a calming response don't just create a fussy baby. They alter the structure of neural circuits involved in emotional regulation, trust, and the body's baseline stress response. Neuroscientist Dr. Megan Gunner at the University of Minnesota has spent decades studying cortisol in infants. Her research consistently shows that consistent, responsive caregiving, not perfect, but consistent, builds a neurological foundation of safety that literally changes how the brain develops. The baby who has responded to reliably learns, at a cellular level, the world responds to me. I matter. Help exists. That belief, wired in before language, before memory, becomes the template for every relationship they will ever have. Number 2, the voice they feel before they hear. Here is something almost no one tells new parents. Your baby doesn't hear your words. Not really. Not yet. What they hear, what they process with stunning accuracy, is the emotional texture underneath the words. Researchers call it prosody, the rhythm, the pitch, the tension or ease in a voice, and babies are sensitive to it from before birth. By 3 months old, they can distinguish between a calm voice and an anxious voice with a precision that would embarrass most adults. Here's the study that made researchers sit up. A team at the University of Oregon monitored infants as young as 6 months old as adult arguments played in an adjacent room. The babies were asleep. They had no context for the words, and yet measurable changes in their heart rate and cortisol levels appeared in response to the emotional intensity of the voices. Asleep, still responding. What this means practically is profound. When you hold your baby after a hard day, when you say all the right words in a voice that is tight with exhaustion or anxiety, your baby doesn't receive the words. They receive the tension. And to their nervous system, tension in the primary caregiver means one thing. Something is wrong. I am not fully safe. This isn't a reason for guilt. It is a reason to know that one slow breath before you pick them up, just one, changes the neurological message your baby receives more than any word you could choose. Number 3, the body that said no. Picture this. Someone you've never met walks up to you, gets very close to your face, and begins speaking loudly with enormous enthusiasm. You didn't ask for this. You don't know this person. You have no way to leave. What would you do? Most of us would look away, lean back, try to create distance. Your baby does the same thing. It has a name in developmental psychology, gaze aversion. And it is not shyness. It is not being difficult. It is a sophisticated, intentional act of self-regulation. When a baby looks away during an interaction, they are saying, clearly in the only language available to them, "This is too much right now. I need a moment. Please stop." And when that signal is ignored, when the adult leans in further, talks louder, insists on eye contact, what gets stored in that baby's nervous system is not just discomfort. It is a lesson. My signals don't change what happens to me. My attempts to regulate my own experience are overridden by the people who are supposed to protect me. Repeated across hundreds of interactions, this becomes a body-level belief about how the world works, one that shapes how they will handle overwhelm, how they will advocate for their own needs, how they will trust their own instincts for decades to come. Number 4, the 2 most dangerous words. You're fine. 2 words, said 100 times a day by loving parents in every language on earth. And neuroscience now has a very uncomfortable thing to say about them. When a baby is distressed, genuinely neurologically activated, flooded with stress chemistry, and the response they receive is, "You're fine," or "Stop crying," or "It's not that bad," something specific happens inside their developing brain. The emotional brain is activated. The signal for help has been sent. But there is no co-regulation coming, no external nervous system offering to help them come back down. Here is what you need to understand. Babies cannot self-regulate. This is not a choice. It is a biological fact. The prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for emotional regulation, will not be fully developed until a person's mid-20s. Babies literally cannot calm themselves down without help. What they do instead is co-regulate. They borrow the calm of a regulated adult nervous system to bring their own system back into balance. This is what being held and soothed actually is, neurologically. You are lending them your nervous system. But when the emotion is dismissed, when the message is, "You shouldn't be feeling what you're feeling," the baby experiences something that researchers call misattunement. A gap between their inner experience and the reflection they're receiving from the outside world. Chronic misattunement, not trauma, not abuse, simply repeated emotional dismissal, is one of the most significant predictors of anxiety, emotional dysregulation, and difficulty with self-trust in childhood and beyond. Multiple longitudinal studies across different countries have now confirmed this. The fix is not complicated. You don't have to fix the emotion. You just have to see it. You're upset. That was really hard. I'm here. Those 3 sentences do more neurological work than you can imagine. Number 5, the blank face that isn't you. Remember the still face experiment I described earlier? There is a modern version happening in millions of homes every day, and it isn't called neglect. It's called checking your phone. Not phone use in general, the specific moment when you are sitting near your baby, or holding your baby, or nominally present with your baby, and your face goes still because you are genuinely absorbed in a screen. Your eyes defocus, your expressions stop responding. Your face does exactly what the researchers instructed mothers to do in Tronick's experiment. It goes blank. And your baby, who is monitoring your face continuously as their primary source of emotional safety data, receives the same signal. The mirror has gone dark. Developmental researchers at the University of Michigan found that even brief, repeated episodes of parental unresponsiveness, not long, not intentional, just the ordinary distraction of a phone, were associated with increased stress behaviors in infants in the minutes following re-engagement. Your baby isn't watching what's on your phone. They're watching your face. And when your face disappears, even while your body is still there, something in them notices. This isn't about eliminating phones. It's about understanding that your face is infrastructure. It is the scaffolding your baby's emotional world is built on, and knowing that changes how you want to be present, even for small moments.